Students, families, faculty, staff, and friends, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Opening Convocation. While the Knox tradition of coming together has changed over time, shaped by the moment, there is little question that this year is like any other in our history. That said, while a great deal will be different, rest assured that the values that ground our community are not, and I cannot remember a time that those values have mattered more. These are deeply distressing times for anybody who cares about our fellow human beings. We are facing complex global crises, not limited to a pandemic, and the ongoing devaluation of Black lives. This year, we are called to care for one another and this Knox community in ways never asked of us before. Like you, I expect I made a very conscious decision to join this community. I was responding to something that struck me as real and powerful: the openness, the care for one another, the conviction that embracing difference is a transformative experience, the affirmation that engagement with community extends beyond the physical boundaries of campus, and perhaps most important, the shared sense that life within this community is less about individual self-interest and more about the ties that bind us together. It's easy to throw the word community around, and we often do so in self-congratulatory ways. It's harder to grasp that community is at its heart the embodiment of the set of choices that each and every one of us makes every day about who we are, what we do, and how we move through the world. The Knox community is not something out there into which you will be absorbed if you fit and against which you will struggle if you don't. It's not a group of like-minded people whose collective will you somehow need to figure out if you wish to blend in. Instead, it is an ever-changing dynamic that is defined and redefined on a daily basis by all of us. To our new students, you redefine the Knox community simply by showing up. You are 1/4 of the student body, and you bring to the mix, by definition, new experiences, new expectations, new aspirations, and new ways of being in the world. And that carries with it a lot of responsibility. Creating community is an active project that I hope you will approach with reflection and intentionality. Here's what writer Bell Hooks has to say about it. All too often we think of community in terms of being with folks like ourselves, the same class, same race, same ethnicity, same social standing, and the like. I think we need to be wary. We need to work against the danger of evoking something we don't challenge ourselves to actually practice. We need to work against the danger of evoking something we don't challenge ourselves to actually practice. What does it mean to actually practice community? At one level, it means actively struggling against the powerful human tendency to divide the world into us and them. We are all us, not because we are all alike or all here for the same reasons, but rather because we have chosen to be part of a community that is on one hand capacious and encompassing, and on the other united by a sense of good faith and common purpose. At another level, to actually practice community is to be conscious of how we treat each other. It means that we encounter each other with openness and respect. Philosopher Bertrand Russell famously said that to like many people spontaneously and without effort is perhaps the greatest source of all personal happiness. In one sense, this is a significant part of what college is all about: creating relationships that will nourish and sustain you throughout your lives. But we can't do this in a lazy way, simply with the people that look like us, who come from the same backgrounds, with whom we are the most comfortable. The relationships you form here matter, and they matter not only to you as individuals, but they matter on a much larger scale. The relationships we build here are experiments in the kind of world we could imagine and would like to have. Creating a true community is far from easy. It requires courage, to be sure, but also imagination and curiosity about our fellow human beings. It rejects fear and suspicion. It demands that we listen to one another. It measures the limits of our humanity. It requires hope. Hope is both a challenge and a gift. It doesn't mean denying a difficult reality. It means facing it and addressing it. Hope locates itself in the frightening truth that we don't know what will happen, and in the spaciousness of that uncertainty is room to act. When you recognize uncertainty, you recognize that you may be able to influence the outcome, either by yourself or with 1,000 others. And the rewards are great. You will find life richer, fuller, and more meaningful, and you will bring to the world empathy and understanding we so desperately need, especially now. This is the promise of Knox. This is what binds us together in our humanity, the thing that connects us all, the exhilarating knowledge that every now and then possibilities explode. This is one of those times, and it is up to all of us as a community to carry it forward.
Thank you, Vice President Ehrlich, for those words of inspiration. At colleges and universities across the country, the opening of the academic year is traditionally marked by a ceremony of convocation, a coming together. At Knox, the faculty would process in academic robes into a darkened auditorium, the choir would perform, and we would welcome new students and new faculty members to the start of another academic year. This year, the moment of convocation is different in nearly every possible way. I am wearing an academic robe, but we are not in one room. The choir is not standing on risers beside me. We all appear as little squares on a screen, not as flesh and blood people with hopes and dreams for the year ahead. 1 in 5 of our students is learning remotely, many of them thousands of miles away. And as Vice President Ehrlich noted, this is a challenging moment for the nation and the world. A global pandemic, economic crises, climate-related catastrophes, a long overdue racial reckoning. This moment reminds me powerfully of another time in this nation. I attended college in the late 60s and early 70s, and the events of that era were also unprecedented, challenging, and polarizing. And then as now, young people were at the heart of those events. There were protests and marches on campus, there were walkouts and teach-ins, and in 1970, a national student strike. Anti-war, racial justice, and free speech movements aligned. The feminist movement and the environmental movement found new energy. As a generation, we rose to the occasion. And looking back now from the vantage point of nearly 50 years, I can tell you that those events shaped me and my generation, both personally and professionally. It was a tumultuous and difficult time. Each of these movements was met with opposition and counter-protests. Friendships and family relationships were ruptured. But to those of us on campuses, regardless of which side we were on, it felt important. We knew we were making change. We were making history. And I was fortunate in those historic times to be at a small college like Knox, with faculty and staff and fellow students who gathered together to meet the moment, to learn, to grow, and to express ourselves. Because it was a college, one way in which we met the moment was through our studies. New courses entered the curriculum, including Black studies, women's studies, environmental studies, and the history of social change. So how will Knox meet this moment, our moment? What will it mean this academic year to meet the moment? Maybe you'll learn more about the physics or the biology of an airborne pandemic or public health policies. Maybe you will study the techniques of investigative journalism so that the facts can be known. Maybe you will study the election or participate in securing the right to vote. Maybe you will study human behavior and learn what motivates people to behave the way they do. An entire course catalog and the faculty who have designed these courses are open to you, offering ways to meet the moment in our classrooms, both in person and remote, by learning the tools and the concepts we will need to play our part in these historic times. There are other ways to meet our moment. At the most basic level, we need to take the Knox Together pledge seriously, to expect more of ourselves and one another. We need to remember that our own behavior can have life or death consequences for others who are at risk of severe COVID-19, especially people of color and older people like me. Wear your mask, observe physical distancing and social solidarity. Act as if every older person you meet is your grandpa or your abuelita. At the highest level, meeting our moment requires that we work together to build the Knox community. Students here and students spread across the world, faculty and staff on campus and remote. We have an historic opportunity to stand together across thousands of miles, even as we are physically apart. Let us discover and own our power to make change, our power to repair a broken world. On this 2020 Convocation Day, let us find collective hope and strength in our community as we make Knox history in this moment. Thank you.
Hello, I am Michael Schneider, and I am Provost and Dean of the College. It's my pleasure to welcome the new faculty who will be joining Knox this fall. First, the tenure-track faculty. First, Mark Slobodnik is Assistant Professor of Biology. He has his Bachelor of Science degree from The Ohio State University and a PhD from University of California at San Francisco. Next, Patricia Shih. Patricia is Assistant Professor of Psychology. She has a Bachelor of Arts degree from Whitman College, her Master of Arts from Boston University, and her PhD from Claremont Graduate University. We also have a number of faculty members in visiting appointments. First, Ritwik Bose is Visiting Assistant Professor of Computer Science. He has a Bachelor of Arts from Colgate University, Master of Science from Stony Brook University, Master of Science and PhD from the University of Rochester. Next, Jessa Dahl. Jessa joins us as Visiting Instructor of History. She has a Bachelor of Arts degree from Knox College and is an MA from the University of Chicago, where she is also a PhD candidate. Next, Amelia Goranson, who joins us as Visiting Assistant Professor of Psychology. She has a Bachelor of Arts degree from Knox College and PhD from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Next, Mary Lyons. Mary joins us as Visiting Assistant Professor of Educational Studies. She has a Bachelor of Arts from Monmouth College, an MS from Western Illinois University, and PhD from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Finally, Vera Kazakova joins us as Visiting Assistant Professor of Computer Science. She has her Bachelor of Science, MS, and PhD from the University of Central Florida. It is my pleasure to present the Philip Green Lombard College Prizes for Distinguished Teaching. These prizes, established by a gift to Knox College by Theodore Wright, Lombard class of 1915, memorialize Professor Philip Green Wright of Lombard College. Professor Wright was not only a teacher himself, but also the father of 3 children, each of whom went on to become a distinguished college professor. The first Philip Green Wright Prize, established in 1966, is awarded each year to a member of the Knox faculty who is not tenured and is selected by the Faculty Personnel Committee. The sole criterion for the selection is distinguished teaching. This year, there are 2 members of the Knox faculty who are equally meritorious in their distinguished teaching. The first recipient of this Philip Green Wright Lombard College Prize for 2020 is Assistant Professor of Modern Languages and Literatures in French, Anne Schaefer. Congratulations, Anne. The second recipient is Assistant Professor of Classics, Mitchell Parks. Congratulations, Mitchell. The second Philip Green Wright Lombard College Prize for Distinguished Teaching was inaugurated in 1981. This prize is awarded to a senior member of the Knox College faculty, selected by the Faculty Personnel Committee. As with the first prize, the sole criterion for selection is distinguished teaching. The recipient of this Philip Green Wright Lombard College Prize is Joseph E. and Judith B. Wagner Distinguished Professor in Business and Management, John Spatel. Congratulations, John. And congratulations to all the distinguished teaching faculty at Knox College.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Tim Foster. I'm the Associate Dean of the College. It's my distinct privilege to honor and recognize individuals of this Knox community that have excelled academically. We're very proud of them all. Founded in 1776, the nation's oldest and most prestigious scholastic honorary society, Phi Beta Kappa, recognizes the principles of freedom of inquiry and liberty of thought and expression. These are the foundations of liberal learning. Only 10% of the nation's colleges and universities have Phi Beta Kappa chapters. The Delta chapter of Illinois was founded at Knox College in 1916, the first chapter of Phi Beta Kappa in the liberal arts college in Illinois. Seniors and a small number of juniors, distinguished for high academic achievement, are elected annually. 2 students were elected into Phi Beta Kappa as juniors last academic year. They are Marion Frank and Isaac Hughes. Congratulations, Marion and Isaac. The Elbridge Pierce Prize, established in 1957 by Mr. Pierce, a former Knox trustee, is awarded each year to the senior who has made the greatest scholastic improvement since the end of the first year while maintaining at least a B average during the junior year. This year, the award goes to a student majoring in business and management, Francis Santiago. Congratulations, Francis. The Faculty Scholarship Prize is awarded to a senior who by the end of the junior year has exhibited exceptional academic ability while participating significantly in extracurricular activities. The prize was established in 1922 by contributions the faculty made to an endowment campaign. The Faculty Scholarship Prize is the highest honor the faculty accords a student. The winner of the Faculty Scholarship Prize is physics major Bhumika Gupta. Congratulations, Bhumika.
It is now my privilege, on behalf of the entire Knox community, to recognize this year's recipients of the Janet C. Hunter Prize. The Janet Hunter Fund was established in 2000 with contributions from friends and colleagues to honor the exemplary service of Janet C. Hunter, longtime Director of Financial Aid, Dean of Enrollment, and Vice President for Enrollment and Institutional Planning at Knox College. The Hunter Prizes are awarded annually to a member of the salaried staff and a member of the hourly staff in recognition of outstanding achievement and dedication to Knox College. Nominations are sent to a committee that includes previous winners of the prize, who then select this year's recipients. This year's Hunter Prize committee members are Becky Canfield, Kevin Coggett, Aaron Scott, Sandra Gray, Trish Harden, and they were supported by Amy Chambers and Vicki Jones. I thank you all for your work. Now, usually I announce the winner clue by clue, but this year, with a shortened convocation, I'm just going to provide a couple of hints and then go right to the names. This year, both of our recipients were honored for their contributions before COVID-19 changed everything we did, but also for the way in which they stepped up to make the changes required so that the teaching and learning and living at Knox could go on in our remote environment. Both recipients have very significant responsibilities for the technology that allows us to do our work and to go about our daily lives on campus. And both recipients were recognized for their caring mentorship of student employees. Our recipients helped us teach and learn remotely. They've helped us print, do our laundry, pay for our meals, and get our ID cards. So by now, those of you on campus may know who they are. The hourly staff recipient of this year's Hunter Prize is Jamie Avery in Dining Services. The award is given in recognition of her work on upgrading the campus card and working in a constructive and creative way to serve all members of the Knox community. Please join me in congratulating Jamie Avery. This year's recipient of the salaried staff Hunter Prize is Emily Frakes, Director of User Services in Instructional Technology. When the entire college had 2 weeks to deliver its curriculum remotely and to transfer all its business operations into a remote environment, it was Emily Frakes who devoted an extraordinary amount of time to guiding faculty, staff, and students into our new remote environment. So please join me in congratulating Emily Frakes as well. And thank you from me to you, both Jamie and Emily, for all you have done for Knox. You truly have met the moment. It is my great privilege now to introduce to you our keynote speaker. Randell Strickland graduated from Knox College in 1990 with a double major in political science and French. While at Knox, he took advantage of all Knox offered, spending time studying abroad in France, joining InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, and ABLE, Allied Blacks for Liberty and Equality. He served on the college's honor board and was initiated into the National Honorary Society Mortar Board. As a student athlete, Randell also made a lasting impression as a 4-year member of the men's track and field team. He held numerous records at the time of his graduation, one of which he continues to hold, and 2 others broken only in the past couple of years. Randell was an integral part of the Knox Midwest Conference Championship team in 1987. He had served on the Knox Alumni Council, the Black Alumni Association of Knox College, BACSI, the Black Alumni Network, BAN, and as a professional in residence offering career advice to current Knox students. After Knox, Randell earned a PhD in comparative politics from the University of Michigan. His dissertation focused on how the use of communication technologies impacted international activism in support of the Free South Africa movement. Randell is also a proud member of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Incorporated. He taught political science, international studies, and Africana studies at Knox from 1995 to 1998. After Knox, he went on to serve in numerous capacities as a consultant and administrator at city, county, state, and federal levels of government, including a gubernatorial appointment to the Illinois Juvenile Justice Commission from 2009 to 2013. Randell was also the project director of the City of Chicago's Violence Reduction Strategy. He currently resides in Washington, D.C., where he serves as chief of the Division of Community Health and Safety in the D.C. Department of Health, and oversees operations for the District of Columbia's COVID-19 Contact Trace Force. His remarks today are entitled, "Do Not Be Silent, Do Not Forget, Say Their Names." We are honored to welcome Dr. Strickland for this year's Convocation keynote.
Good evening, and thank you so much, Teresa, for that introduction. As you already know, I'm Randell Strickland, Knox College, class of 1990. My pronouns are he, him, his. So I'm really glad to be with you to address the fact that we are living through such turbulent, tumultuous times. But this is not the first time, as you well know. It will not be the last, and I really don't believe it is even the worst. But I do believe that it is one of the most promising because we have the benefit of all the lessons of the past, the technology and tools of the present, and all the unknown and unlimited possibilities of times to come. So that begs the question, what must we do? I don't necessarily have those answers for you. I don't even have all of them for me. But I will share with you what I've learned about living through plate shifts in culture and political trauma. There are 3 actions that I've come to understand as critical to facing the challenge of tough times: to vote, to agitate, and to live your truth unapologetically. And that being said, I encourage you to be generous with forgiveness, slow with criticism, quick with compassion, and absolutely unyielding about justice. I always encourage you to maintain hope in your ability to make positive change. You can and you have to. That is the only way to be sure that it will happen. And just know that if you choose to pursue a path of resisting injustice and fighting for justice, you will feel angry and tired and frustrated and impatient and dejected a lot. Do it anyway. That is normal and to be expected. But these things represent the good measures of growth and progress. So resist and fight anyway. When leaders or even allies tell you they are going as far and as fast as they can and cannot go any farther or faster, push them anyway. When powerful people tell you that change takes time or lots of money or complicated process, and it absolutely does, demand it right now anyway. When those who oppose or would oppress you assume the arrogance to tell you how or how not to resist or protest. Do it your own way anyway. But work to recognize your allies, who will always be flawed, and opportunity, which will never be perfect, and good compromise, which is almost always necessary. There will always be some things for which we have to be patient or compromise or work with imperfectly. But we should never take that as a sign or an excuse to submit or surrender to inaction, or allow the weight to make us complacent, or the compromise to make us apathetic, or imperfection to make us cynical. You and you alone have to figure out your own truth, your own passion, your own purpose for yourself. Please don't simply let your family or peers, parents, professors, or social media influencers, and not even some old head giving a taped college convocation speech, tell you who you should be, how to show up in the world, or how to understand it. But if you want to be your authentic self and use your talent, gifts, and privilege to serve others, I do urge you to strive for certain things. Firstly, to always interrogate your biases and motivations, constantly. Read lots and lots of different things, and not just what you agree with and what confirms what you already believe. Be open to changing your mind. You already have permission that no one can give you or take away. It comes from within you, so take full advantage. Whatever you do, wherever you are, however you present your humanness to the world, it is so vital to understand that as justice touches everyone, so does injustice. This is an old idea, one that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. understood and promoted, and one that 2 decades later, some 30 years ago, critical race legal theorist Kimberly Crenshaw advanced in coining the term intersectionality. Injustice and microaggressions against women impact Black and Indigenous people of color. Injustice against trans women impacts low-income persons. Injustice against Indigenous people impacts Latinx communities. This is not just because many people occupy multiple identities simultaneously, but also because oppression, marginalization, inequality always seek and in fact require some appropriately pollutable other. And those forces and energies are often not very discriminating about which other is excluded, exploited, punished, mistreated, violated, or even killed. So use this time to find and define yourself. Find and define your vision and mission for how you want to shape the world. Find and define whose space or place in the world you're willing to work and fight for alongside your own. We must not be silent. As Audre Lorde and Zora Neale Hurston, respectively, have so eloquently cautioned us, our silence will not protect us. We must never be silent about our pain, because if we are silent about our pain, our oppressors will kill us and say we liked it. So each and every time you discover that oppression and injustice has violated someone's life or dignity, do not be silent about it. Fight for them. Do not forget them. Say their names. Katherine Johnston, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, George Floyd, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Ahmaud Arbery, Oscar Grant, Philando Castile, Botham Jean, Elijah McClain, Dominique Remy Fells, Rhea Milton, Natasha McKenna, Michelle Cusseau, Rekia Boyd, Gabriela Navarez, Margaret Laverne Mitchell, Eleanor Bumpers, Breonna Taylor. At every opportunity, say their names. Because women's lives matter, poor people's lives matter. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, questioning, gender fluid, non-binary, and transgender people's lives matter. Indigenous people's lives matter. Latinx lives matter. Black lives matter. Thank you, and good night.